Hello, we're back to one of my favourite webinars that we do in the Recruiting Gym, Ask the Coach, where I get coaches in to answer your questions so that the recruitment industry can get free coaching. Every 2 weeks, Friday lunchtimes. It's quite relaxed. Things do go wrong sometimes technically, just bear with us, but we're a friendly lunch. Say hello in the chat bar there. And we'll get started. I'm Angela Cripps, MD of the Recruiting Gym. I'm going to get the coaches to introduce themselves in a second. Let me explain how this works. We've got 6 questions that have already been asked over the last couple of weeks. I'd like you to vote on them if you want your question asked first. So if you're looking at those and going, oh, I've only got 15, 20 minutes, because this goes for about 40, 45, then vote it up the list and we'll answer it before we get there. So if you wanted number 6 answered first, then get voting on that. While you're voting, in the bit at the bottom that says ask a question, we'll get the coaches to introduce themselves. So let's come to Kate O'Neill first. You've been with us before. You're one of our coaches in the Recruiting Gym. If you'd like to give an intro to everyone.
Hi, everybody. So, yeah, I'm Kate, one of the coaches at the Recruiting Gym. I run my own recruitment-focused training and coaching business. And I'm also a DISC profiler, which is basically a behavioural profiling system. So I'm going to do a little plug for my DISC course that I've got at the gym at the moment. I think Charlotte will probably share the link for it in the chat box. But yeah, that's me.
Fabulous. Yeah. All the coaches give their time for free here. So I am happy for them to plug anything that they want to. So yeah, we've got Kate's DISC course, short course in the gym. You can do it in a couple of hours. So dive in there, have a look at that if that's something of interest to you. Let's come to Rod next. Rod, if you'd like to unmute.
Yeah, hi there. I think it's my second time here. I'm marketing manager at monster.co.uk. So I work with both companies and recruiters, and also how we're reaching out to candidates. I'm sure I'll also get a chance to do a plug. We've got some free market research that we've been working on, which, looking at the questions, I think is going to be really relevant. So I can share the link to that afterwards. But yeah, I always enjoy doing these. They're a good resource.
Lovely. Thank you for that. And thank you for sharing your resources as well. That's a good point. Click on the green button at the bottom. You've got the 34 other sessions that we've already done, and you can access that for free. And then you've got all the resources that people have talked about over that time and all the questions. So if you have got a question that you want answered, have a look back on those. There's probably been a coach that's spoken about it, or put it in the chat and we'll see if we can get it in today. If we don't know the answer, we get a coach on for the next time to be able to do that. Brilliant. Okay, you've got like 30 seconds, a minute now to get on your voting. So Kate Nudds, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Hello, everybody. Good morning. I think it is still. I'm Kate number 2. So I'm new to the gym. So this is my first session. I'm a learning and development recruiter and also career coach. So I try and offer quite an end-to-end service for my L&D professionals that are looking for work, career coaching, and then find them a job at the end of it.
So fantastic. You are a good person to know, definitely, for our piece in there. We've been trying to get you on for a little while. Unfortunately, good old COVID got you as well as me, didn't it? And it didn't happen. So very, very grateful to have you here, Kate. Thank you for that. Right, let me have a quick look then and see which questions come in first. We're going to number 4, first of all. So, oh, no, 6 just suddenly got in there. As I was talking, it switched. So we're going to 6. I'm going to come to Kate O'Neill first. We'll start answering that one. I'm using lots of ways already to find candidates. Oh, typical. It had to be a candidate one coming up there, isn't it? But no, there's more. I don't know. What are some of the best ways that coaches recommend when sourcing? So I'll come to Kate first. I know Rod will have something to add on to this as well. Away you go.
I was going to say, it doesn't surprise me that this one has come up top to be first at the moment. Do you know what? It might be something you're already doing, but I don't think enough recruiters do it consistently, is the referrals piece at the moment. We all know it's a candidate short market in lots of industries at the moment, but I think it's really utilising the network you've got for referrals. So it could be past placements, current people you're working with that are great candidates, just people you're screening, just asking it all the time. Who else do you know that's looking? I think that is a really powerful, because you can get access to more passive candidates as well. And I think that's where you can create more placements. It might be something you're already doing, but maybe not with every call or with different types of people. So personally, I think referrals is a really good way to do it at the moment.
That's been shocking me recently, the amount of consultants that when I'm talking to them that they haven't made contact with past placements, especially during these last 2 years. Great opportunity to catch up with everyone, but you should be doing it regularly anyway. One, to get a LinkedIn recommendation, testimonial, Google review, whatever, if they're in their job and loving it. One, but straight away then, asking them who do you know that's looking for a job at the moment that we could help, like we helped you. Nice and easy, isn't it? So that's a great one. Thank you for that. Rod, what about from your side?
Yeah, so this fits in nicely with some research we did recently with recruiters in the UK. Went out and asked them what tools they'd find most useful for their last 3 to 5 hires. And some of it depends on the market that they're in. We found print hadn't gone away completely if it was a very large enterprise brand with an established brand recognition. CV search was still king of the castle there. I'm sure you're doing that in online profiles coming in. We did find for Gen Z as well, they're a bit more receptive to reaching out by mobile and SMS and WhatsApp. One thing for internal companies doing internal recruitment as well, maybe looking at the strategy of who you're hiring, because there are skill shortages out there. Like we saw a logistics and warehousing company not able to find forklift truck drivers just on the market to recruit them. So they changed their strategy to train their current warehouse operatives that they had an established relationship with up to be forklift truck drivers, and then they were hiring to replace the warehouse operatives, and they found that was easier. So it's a bit of a change in who they were going after.
That's a great idea, isn't it? A lot of the time we're a bit too blinkered, aren't we? And we don't think laterally about what are the other options here. Kate, Nudds.
Yeah, I think it's also worth mentioning, and this is a bit of a longer game, but it's about building a community as well. It's not just about those candidates that you can speak to now. It's about building that community for the longer term. And I know that won't necessarily help with the positions that people are looking for now, but this is what I'm trying to do with my L&D community is build that community so that referrals can be easily passed, but also the people I'm talking to now probably won't be looking for 6 months to a year, but that's okay because they're in my community.
And oh my goodness, how quickly does 6 months to a year go? We're already in the second week of April. It's like, whoa. So yeah, you're right. That talent mapping, talent pooling, finding out where these people are and reaching out now, because then there's no pressure either, isn't it? And they don't feel like you're pushing them into doing anything. It's more about building that relationship with. Brilliant. 3 great ideas there. Thank you for that. I will click done answering on that. Remember, if you've got a question, do put it in the chat. And we'll come back to that. Right, what was it? It was question 2 that's coming up next. So question 2, coming back to you again, Kate. Struggling to get my consultants to pick up the phone and speak to people. I hear this a lot, but this was a specific conversation this week. They're relying on email, messages, etc. Any ideas to get them to pick up the phone?
This is something when I go into agencies to train, this is a big thing that's coming up a lot. So you're not alone. It tends to be, I find, more around the client side, not so much the candidate side, around like business development. The main thing is that there's 2 things. If they're in a quiet office where no one is making calls, that sometimes is why they're scared to pick up the phone, because they feel like everyone's listening to them. They're going to be criticized about the call. So I think it's about creating a buzz again in the office, if they are based in an office, so they feel a bit more confident. But also it's helping them take the fears away from it. So it's addressing them. So what is it they're frightened about? What's putting them off? And then helping them almost create a contingency plan. So, okay, if that happens, which we don't know it definitely will, what are you going to do? What's the outcome of that? And half the time, the stuff they're thinking up, it's just, it all comes from fear, and half the time it doesn't happen. So I like to create like fun games around it, so they're motivated to pick up the phone, and they realize then, oh, actually, it is better to speak to people than doing what every other recruiter is doing at the moment, which is emails, texts, LinkedIn messages. It helps them stand out. I forgot to mention at the start, but I've got a YouTube channel with loads of free videos on, and I've got a couple of these videos around this. So feel free to go and have a look. So that might help as well.
Charlotte will be on it. That's great. So yeah, there is loads of stuff out there to help people with this, but you're right, it's usually the fear that's stopping them. But unusually happy to pick up to a candidate that could quite easily turn into a client. Again, we're just all people, aren't we? Rod, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, so this one made me laugh because I used to many years ago work in telesales, and I was very guilty of this. I'd always happily send an email rather than pick up the phone, and I think it's about rewarding the behaviours that you want to see, which isn't necessarily just more phone calls. It's more placements. So there's a way to do it where you can be tracking the number of calls made and the number of hours spent on the phone, but that's very quantitative. It doesn't give you any insights about the conversations, or if they're speaking to the right people, or the quality. If you're able to track the results and show that the consultants who are spending more time on the phone having more conversations are also making more placements, correlate those together, maybe have a bit of a league table, then it becomes very much a carrot of what's in it for them. We used to have a sales director who always said, if you're not hitting your targets, you just need to speak to the right people and speak to enough of them and say the right things, and you're going to get there. Just calling back to our research as well from recruiters, 19% said phone calls were the most effective tool, compared to 12% for email, and 7% for text messaging. So it does seem to be that phone calls are working. Obviously, we've moved more to virtual recruitment as well. Maybe there's a way to match the two, where we're looking at video calls. So it's an email that's setting up a video call. One other idea is to take the email away from them from certain times of the day, and just say, right, your emailing time is going to be 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and we expect you to be making calls outside that time. That can be a bit draconian. I would look as well at the scenarios that people are doing for emails, because they might find there's 5 or 6 different scenarios where people are typing up emails and it's taking them time. If you can work with them and brainstorm a really good template to give them, it gives you more control over the message that's going out. It's saving them time because they can pop it out. And if you can get them involved to have a brainstorming session, say, right, for this scenario, an email is suitable, we'll have a template for it. For this scenario, we expect you to be picking up the phone and speaking to them, and get their buy-in and agreement to it, and tying it to, this is about building their success. So, we're not doing this just to see more phone calls. It's about helping you make more commission.
Well, I love a stat, I love a percentage. So having those three, that actually you're going to be more successful if you pick up the phone. So could you just repeat those again? I'll get Charlotte to type them in and we'll put those into the course.
Yeah, let me just...
19 for telephones, and then 12. I wasn't sure which one.
So this was where we asked recruiters about the tools that we're using, they found most useful. 19% said phone calls, 12% said emails, and 7% said text messages or WhatsApp were most effective. So
those people that are relying on the WhatsApp have got to work sort of 2.5 times harder to get the success if they picked up the phone. That's what we need to tell them. Brilliant. Love this. Kate, you got something to add?
Yeah, I was just going to say, if you're an older, seasoned recruiter like I am, where we didn't have email when I first started, you only had the phone. It's more natural for us to pick up the phone. And actually, I struggle more with sending emails now, because I'm so used to picking up the phone, and people are at home, they don't have direct dials anymore. So, but one thing I would say, and people are probably going to groan at this, is role play. If you can role play with someone, it'll become easier. The more you do it, the more easier it becomes. But practice on each other in the office. Don't practice on your clients.
Yeah, this comes back to Kate's point. Make it fun. Have a bit of a laugh and a joke about it. Throw loads of objections. We used to do it in our office because it was the objection handling and the worry about someone coming at you, because your body does react, doesn't it? We've got lots of input on that as well. I'll get one of the links for that. But if you can actually just prepare yourself, as Kate said, so it's that plan hard, fight easy. Good old Madame Muhammad Ali. That if you practice it all the time. So someone walked down the office and they was like, "All right, anyone want a cup of tea?" No, I had a bad experience with your tea last time. So it doesn't have to relate to recruitment. It's more about how you're going to handle it, what you're going to say, how you're going to acknowledge it to then be able to move on. So yeah, play around with it. Have a bit of fun. Gosh, life's too short to not enjoy your work. Right. Brilliant. Got loads of ideas there. Let's have a look what the next question is going to be. It's number 3. How big a part of the puzzle do you think internal culture is for companies? I'm coming to Rod first on this one.
Yeah, so I think it's 2 big parts of the puzzle, actually. So there's understanding your internal culture, and is it where you want to be? And from a recruitment basis, it's the employer branding of how are you communicating that culture, and when are candidates finding out about it? So do companies, do they understand their culture? Do they understand their values? And values aren't just something that's a poster on a wall. Are people living up to them, and what support are they giving for that? And is it an attractive company culture that's going to attract the right sort of candidates? The big part for us for recruitment is in the employer branding, where you could have, when are candidates finding out about the culture in the recruitment process? This is very tricky, especially if you're a recruitment consultant and you don't want to be broadcasting who you're hiring for. So, you're doing it under your own name and not there. I think that's an issue. But if you have an experience where someone seemed really great on paper and you've placed them with the company and then they've not lasted, maybe there was a company culture clash there. We break down company culture and employer brand by 6 values that companies can analyze, which is I can maybe put them in the chat rather than read through them all, but they're care, basically how they look after their employees. Is the work interesting? Is there a social atmosphere? What are the economic factors? And is the pay competitive? Is there space for development? And do people have a chance to apply their skills? So if you can understand that within your culture and then communicate it early in the funnel, maybe even when before someone's hearing about a job opportunity, companies do have an employer brand of their culture where, yeah, that's a bad place to work, that's a good place to work. The famous one is McDonald's with a McJob, which they've had to spend millions on turning around. So if you can get the company culture and authentically communicate it out there, it's going to help you at all stages of the process. And another thing to share, I've got a free white paper that I'll be able to share on employer branding, so I'm sure we can put the link out for that.
Fantastic. I love it when there's always stuff to back it up and white papers and information so people can do additional reading. These sessions are great to get a quick answer to what you need, but there's always more, isn't there? Brilliant. Kate, O'Neill, did you have something to add? Oh, no, you didn't.
I couldn't find my unmute then. I do think culture is important, but like Rod was saying, it's difficult when you're advertising something on behalf of another company and you can't say the name. It's difficult to get it across, but I think it's just talking about it when you're speaking to your candidates and selling the opportunity. But I think, especially after COVID, culture's a big decider. It's not all just about money. It's about, do they offer me security? How am I going to feel? It's about how you feel working somewhere. Because ultimately, if it's the job you're in is making you feel bad, you're not going to stay. So yeah, I think it's quite important at the moment.
I think it is one of the reasons why we've got this big influx of people moving and jobs available and everything, because people have reviewed, does this environment, does this company actually make me happy? Does it make a difference to me, or is it making me worse? And again, let's move on. If it is, find the right place for you, because it can have a huge difference. And that's something for any people that are new in recruitment. Don't leave our industry, go and work somewhere else. It's a totally different experience. And even it could be just the manager. So if you're in a larger company and you've got options of going to different locations, I had that with someone that came and worked for me. They were going to leave. They wanted to be a manager. I said, and their manager wasn't willing to promote them or to actually support them in that. And I said, come and work for me. Within 1 year, we'll make you a manager. You'll have your own office that you can do. She recently sold that for millions and millions and millions. Like 20 years later, she ended up being running her own business for a long time. So it can make a big difference. Don't leave. We need good people in our industry. Go find somewhere else. Right. What's the next question that's coming up? Number 4. Rod, you're getting all of these. I'm coming back to you. It's a marketing one. What's the best new thing in marketing at the moment? So
it's probably something I heard about yesterday, so it's probably out of date already. There's always something new comes every day. But specifically for recruitment marketing, I would say programmatic recruitment marketing. Job advertising has come a long way from.
Sorry, I'm going to have to stop you there. What did you say? Programmatic.
Programmatic and pay for performance, new models, where instead of just posting a job for, say, a month on a job board and expecting candidates to find it, that's not really going to work now in the market that we have. It's not cost effective. It's not time effective. And there's various solutions where you can put a job advert on, and it's tailored to go out to the market and basically, on banner advertising, or it'll smartly reach the people that match the criteria for the advert. And there's also models where you can be paying by performance, by application as well. It means you're paying less for an easy to fill role, where the candidates can find it. And if there is something where it's a harder to fill role, you're investing a bit more, but the advert's doing more for you. And it's yes, it's changing the game of how effective adverts can be, and how we think about how to measure the response from just number of applies over a set number of days. The other side of things, just for B2B, for recruiters going out to companies, is thinking about multiple touch points in the company, not just one point of contact. But if you're approaching a company with a proposal, you maybe want a different message for the finance director, for the head of HR, for the CEO, and it's tying that together into a cohesive message that's different, because you're selling to influencers as well as the decision maker.
This is blowing my mind, which is why I went, because I'm trying to open this. So this is one advert that you create, but the system adjusts it as to who's going to see it and what they're going to see. Is that what you're saying?
So it'd be a different advert for each role. For example, if you're advertising for an engineer in Birmingham, it's not just going to go and sit on the job board. It'll go out and find people whose browsing history suggests they're engineers in Birmingham. So it's not going to appear on necessarily an engineering board, but they might be on a website about car exhausts or boy racers or something. It'll come up on the side as banner advertising. So it's targeted to the individuals. Yes, it's just a smarter way of
it's smarter. I've got creepy in my head as well. I mean, I love this for recruiters, but it is a bit freaky. So this is also why we get those adverts that come up and you go, like yesterday, I was looking at racing at Silverstone. Our team event is coming up, and we all go and do something lovely for the day. And then all of my emails, when I was looking at them, that's what's coming up down the side, these adverts for racing at Silverstone. And I'm thinking, okay, yeah, you obviously access all of this, so it's doing the same with job adverts. We actually can do that. Yeah,
and I think it's only noticeably intrusive if something isn't relevant or something's. But if you're an engineer in Birmingham, and even are passive candidates, and it's relevant for you, then it doesn't necessarily feel intrusive, because it could be a new job, and it's always you're not selling anything really. You're offering.
I suddenly had a flash of my netball team going, here if you need me, which is what it's doing, isn't it? It's just popping up. I'm here if you need me. If you need a job, we're here. Brilliant. Okay, thank you for sharing that. Again, I say we always learn something on this. I always learn something new as well. So programmatic is what we're looking at here. Yeah. So we'll go and do a bit more work on that. Right. Next question coming up. So I'm going to come to Kate Nudds for this first, because you are a solopreneur. And I'm suffering from a lack of direction, not enough clients, lack of accountability, because I'm on my own. So no one to bounce ideas off. So just help in that sense. So you just started your business this year, haven't you? So if you can sort of share your experience with regards to this.
Yes, I started in January. I ran a generalist agency previously, and I had 11 employees. So it's quite different going from that, where I had different employees doing different things, to now just being me. And it is really difficult. There's no doubt about it. It's feast or famine. Do you spend time business developing? Do you spend time working on candidates? Do you spend time building a community? Do you spend time on LinkedIn? It's a time management is massive, and I've realised that more and more. I was also a bit of an island when I had my last agency, and I didn't go out there for help. Whereas now there's lots of things like this, which we didn't really have when I did it before. But there's so much help for people from each other, from other recruiters. Recruiters are really happy to help each other. It used to be a bit more cutthroat, and I think we've all loosened up a little bit and got a bit more mellower, perhaps. And we're all really happy to help each other. But the other thing is the accountability, because you're accountable to yourself, and you'll tell yourself what you need to do or what you don't need to do, and you can easily convince yourself that you don't need to do that, or you do need to do that. So I have been looking into getting a mentor, because I want to be accountable to somebody else, and I don't want to be that island like I was before. So it is worth thinking about, possibly a coach, but also someone from a mentoring perspective, that will have eyes on the business and eyes on what I'm doing, but they'll have that helicopter view, and they won't be so involved in the day-to-day, but they'll help me through, this is what you should be doing, and I'll have to get on with it.
Yeah, having someone else looking at your business, one, they'll spot things that you just don't see because you're wood for the trees scenario, isn't it? But also it is, I've got to do it, and I've got to do it right because someone else is going to have a look at it.
Yes,
That makes a big difference, doesn't it? So whether it's a mentor, a coach, a networking group, I mean, they're all out there, aren't they? So do reach out if you're in that situation. You don't have to be alone. Kate, yours was just over a year, isn't it, that you've had your anniversary? So yeah, what's your experience?
Yeah, so January 2021, I set my business up. So yeah, I'm on my own as well. I'm not a consultant anymore, but more of a coach and trainer. But I totally get where you're coming from with the just being on your own, not having anybody to hold you accountable. I worked from home for 7 years before for my old agency, so I was on my own a lot, but this is a different kettle of fish. One thing that helped me, touching on what Kate's already said, I got a coach / mentor. She did a bit of both. And that helped me massively, just knowing I had somebody to listen to my challenges and give me some good advice, but push me a little bit as well. And I've just created my own little community. So I've got a few people very close to me who aren't necessarily in recruitment, but they're business owners that work alone. And like this morning, I was on the phone to my friend Bethan, who's a marketing business owner, and just somebody I can vent to and talk to that gets where I'm coming from. And I feel understands and always makes me feel better. And actually, it pushes me a little bit as well. So I just say create your own little community. They don't need to be in recruitment, but just people you can go to when you're struggling, or I don't know, to celebrate your successes as well.
Yeah, we've got these networking events coming back up again. I've actually joined one that's local to me, so I'm going to go next Thursday and see what it is. And again, it's just business networking. It doesn't have to necessarily be recruitment, because any business has the same issues and the same problems. I've experienced that working in and out of recruitment companies. So I think it's important. And you're right, both Kates. People are more open to it. People are willing to support and be there because they know, again, it's about pay it forward, isn't it? It's going to help in some way, shape or form. Kate?
I was also going to say that recruitment's changed dramatically, even I think from COVID, and certainly from when I was doing it previously. So from a learning and development perspective, keeping up your own skills all the time is really, really important. And I guess that's where the Mind Gym comes in with all the courses that you do. But I think it's so important to keep your skills up to date, to understand what tech is out there that can help. So again, it's about keeping your knowledge as current as you can, because there's lots of new things on the market all the time that will help with being a solo recruiter.
Yeah, I mean, that's key for me, that everyone has access to free coaching like this one. We get free training. We have Meet the Expert on Wednesday, but we offer 5 free courses in the gym. So yeah, just sign up for one. We'll allocate the others to you. You don't have to do it alone. We're a network. We're a community. That's what we were set up to do. We want to be supportive in whatever way we can. Yes, we'd love you to buy our stuff as well, of course. But the free stuff's there for everyone to use. So yeah, get involved, get part of it. Brilliant. Thank you for that. Okay, let's have a look at our last question, which was number 1, which didn't get any votes, which actually goes really well with the question. This year, I've seen a lot more promotion of International Recruiters Day. What is the point of these days? So not specifically International Recruiters Day, which Stephen O'Donnell has promoted very well this year, actually. I got invited to do a short 1-minute video on that, and there were lots of people in the recruitment industry that did contribute. But yeah, there's days for everything, isn't it? So let's come to the marketing person first, I think, and see it from that point of view. So Rod, what is the point of these days?
Well, one thing I think it potentially actually ties in with question 6, which is about having a community and a support network, because it's a sort of day, there's a bit of a focus where you can see things on social media or connect with people. It can help connect with who's in the industry. You might see people having similar challenges and similar solutions. There are also, I mean, there's so many. I think there's, if you're looking at a social media calendar, there's 2 or 3 days every day, it seems, that you can hashtag and do. But I think they can be quite good community building tools, and especially if we're all working from home and you're in front of a screen all day, sort of, there's other people out there in the same boat facing similar challenges, and that you can connect with, and a wee bit of a, celebrate the industry.
Yeah, that sort of working together, we're doing quite a lot of that at the moment, co-working, and we do it when we're working. Charlotte and I will just get on WhatsApp and we'll be chatting away doing our work, again, just for that sense of you actually working with someone even when you're 300 miles apart. That reminds me, next week is Sourcing Challenge Week with Catherine Robinson, so that's all about all coming together and doing these sourcing challenges and learning new skills on sourcing. So that links back to the question as well about trying to find the candidates and getting those, as well as getting on the phone, because it's, find them, pick up the phone, go and speak to them. So Charlotte, if you can get the link to the daily workout, 9 o'clock every morning, 4 mornings next week, so it's a bank holiday already, isn't it? So Catherine will be running those and helping you with your sourcing to find more candidates and up your skills. Brilliant. Okay. Anyone want to add anything else? That's probably one of our slickest ones we've done, I tell you, at 30 minutes. I'm impressed with that. I'm not going to extend it out because people are busy. If we've covered it and you're happy, we do it from there. Kate, what would you like to add?
Just on the Recruiters Day, I mean, I don't think you should have too many of them because it goes OTT, but I quite like it, to be honest with you. I think it creates a bit of a buzz about the industry. Like Rod said, it's kind of bringing us together, and it's promoting it a little bit as well. We could do with some fresh blood coming in. And I think sometimes we get a bit of a bad rep of being in recruitment. And I love it. I think I'm proud of our industry, and I think we should celebrate it.
We are having a bit of a moment at the moment, aren't we? Because it's so hard to find. I just saw on there 1.3 million jobs just in the UK. So everyone's wanting to find good recruiters to help them. So let's take advantage of that. And you're right, I've never been involved in International Recruiters Day before. I don't know how long it's been going, but once a year, I'm happy to have a day where we celebrate ourselves. I think that's a great idea. But you're right, let's pick and choose the ones that actually mean something to us. Kate?
I was just going to say, I didn't even actually know it existed. So I had to do a little bit of research and find out about it. And I was glad I did, actually, because it is a bit of day of recognition, isn't it? And it is just a bit of day. It is a day where we can just say to each other in recruitment, well done us. And just so you know, today, because I do have a content planner with all the awareness days in, today is Zoo Lovers Day, just in case you weren't aware.
Zoo lovers?
Zoo lovers, yeah. Handy to know.
Do I get to do my Zoolander look? Do it from there. Can you put a link to where people can buy that planner? Because there will be people that will love that, and I'm thinking me.
It is quite fun, actually. There's days for everything. Bagel day, popcorn day, kiss and makeup day. You name it, there's a day for it.
I love that. Brilliant. Yeah, get the link to where we can buy that, and I think we might get a few sales on that for them. Sorry, not getting a commission for it. Right. That's our Ask the Coach. That's who we are. That's what we do. We'll be back in 2 weeks, but we won't be, for the first time ever, we won't be at lunchtime. So after Easter, the 22nd, we're going to do a US special, because we've had a couple of US coaches on and they have to get up really early for this. So we're going to do a 4 o'clock one. So finish your Friday, finish that 4-day week. So aim to get everything cleared off by then. Come and join us for our US special. So that'll be the next one that we've got. Fantastic. Have a wonderful weekend, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Hope you enjoyed it, Kate, your first time that we got you here. We'll get you back on later in the year. That would be lovely. Thanks for all your advice. Fantastic. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.